um, these are the sort of things that can be done. Constant demonstrations outside the American embassy and American embassies across the world, which is what has been happening. Um, there are many different groups involved in this case. For all the ones that should be involved that aren't, that are sitting on the sidelines, there are many more others that are involved. There's been some very effective, very active groups in New York, and the one thing that saddens me in America is that the larger organisations like ICNA and ISNA and CARE have not been at all vocal in supporting Dr. Aafia Siddiqui, and that's very, very sad. I have written to them and said, what's wrong with you guys? But they haven't even responded.
In your knowledge, is there any help that has been provided by Imran Khan's ex-wife, Ms. Jemima Khan?
Not as far as I'm aware, but now that you've put that idea into my head, I know that Jemima is very
influential,
politically switched on, and she is very supportive of Imran Khan, although the two are no longer together, but they do have their children. That's their common cause, and she is a fighter for injustice. So it might be an idea. You've just given me another avenue. There are listeners out there might say, well, why don't they do this? Why don't please get in touch with your ideas, your suggestions on how we can continue to ratchet up the pressure. As I said to somebody, this isn't just about one woman. This isn't just about Dr. Aafia Siddiqui. This is about justice. And justice for everyone, not just one woman. She represents more than 10,000 disappeared in the war on terror today. And maybe that's why nobody wants her to come out, because who knows what will happen after one is released. What will it mean for the other 10,000?
Do you think, in your personal opinion, that Pakistani government sincerely feels that Dr. Aafia is innocent, or do they really think that Dr. Aafia has done something which should be punishable?
Oh, they know she's innocent. They know she's innocent. I mean, the FBI tried to portray her as somebody who was out with Al-Qaeda, selling conflict diamonds in Liberia. They came up with this crazy story about what Aafia Siddiqui was up to. And there is this brilliant lawyer, Elaine Whitfield Sharp, in Boston, who the family appointed and said, this is before Aafia surfaced, saying we need to protect her reputation. Even if she's never found, can you please do something? And this Elaine Whitfield Sharp was, and another solicitor, Elizabeth Fink, they, through their investigations, discovered that far from Aafia being in Liberia or Sierra Leone buying conflict diamonds for Al-Qaeda, she was running a children's project in Boston during the summer, and of whenever it was that she was supposed to have done this, and so they had this proof. And everything that the FBI came up with, these two amazing women just shot it down and in tatters and ridiculed, and exposed the duplicity of U.S. intelligence. And they were able to say,
Recently,
of course you...
Right. Recently, Pakistan, I believe what we have been hearing from the media reports, maybe you might have some inside knowledge on that. Recently, Pakistan and United States governments, they have been trying to sort out some kind of a treaty so Aafia can be brought back to Pakistan. And if you know, there is no extradition treaty between Pakistan and United States, so they are trying to work out that kind of a treaty where Aafia can be back in Pakistan. So do you think, is there a connection also between Dr. Aafia's detention and Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan, who is Pakistan's nuclear scientist, his retrieval from Pakistan? Do you think if Americans are trying to use her as a pawn to get Pakistan sign an extradition treaty so that they can lay their hands on Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan?
The family has made it quite clear that they want Aafia back, but not at any price, and they do not want her name being used or abused for some Mickey Mouse treaty. Now, what I said earlier is that the Americans broke the Vienna Conventions when dealing with Aafia. The Pakistani government just needs to tell America to get stuffed and say, just return her. You are no respecter of international treaties, so why should we sign any? Just bring her back. The Pakistani government really needs to get tough with the Americans, and what we need the Americans to do is to come out publicly and say, we are so sorry that we broke the Vienna Conventions, a treaty signed by us with regards to Aafia, and we are going to return her. Because if they don't do that, what they are doing, they will have exposed every American with a passport who's travelling abroad, because this will give every country, if they encounter any difficulties, they'll just take them. And if America says, you know, you have to give consular access, they'll say, but you didn't do that with Aafia Siddiqui, get lost.
Looking at
the Americans have to understand that they cannot flout international law.
Yeah, Sister Ridley, that's a brilliant suggestion for American government, but looking at the track record of American government, I can bet my leg and arm there that they wouldn't go public and apologize for the mishandling of the case of Dr. Aafia. I really doubt that.
Well, you know, Obama apologized yesterday for human experiments that were carried out on South Americans, where US scientists injected and infected more than 100 South Americans with syphilis and gonorrhea to carry out scientific studies. This is a sort of Nazi experimentation, and the Americans did it 50, 60 years ago with a group of South Americans, and Obama yesterday apologized for that. They'll apologize after 50, 60 years. I have no doubt about that. They will do it right now, I guess. Well, they have to. They have to start apologizing for breaking treaties, because if they don't, they're exposing every single American who gets in trouble overseas. So, in your opinion, do you think they will try to gain any benefit as far as Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan, access to Dr. Abdul Qadir Khan is concerned? Americans, do you think, in your knowledge, they are trying to break this kind of a deal to get Aafia back and get Abdul Qadir Khan's access from Pakistan? Well, who knows? Who knows with them? And I don't think they need a treaty. I mean, their style is just to go in, bag over the head, cuffs on, and into the boot of a car, and just drive these people off. You know, this is their modus operandi at the moment: kidnap, rendition, and torture. And this is what they've brought to the world today. The last question, Sister Ridley, what is your point of view of Islamophobes and their underlying agenda? Well, the harder they try, the stronger Islam becomes. And, you know, alhamdulillah, you look at this crazy preacher of hate, this cleric down in Florida, the pastor who threatened to burn the Holy Quran. As a result of that idiotic man, Islam grew stronger, more people began reading the Quran, and alhamdulillah, more Westerners began converting to Islam. So this is the nature of Islam. The stronger you push us, the harder you hit us, the stronger we become, and the more we rise above it. So, to all the hate preachers out there, all those who demonize Islam, continue, because you are becoming the best recruiters to Islam. And